Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of the Thrive in 5 podcast. This podcast was created by professional women, that's me, for professional women who want life to be about more than just their email signature. If you're here because you want to lose weight, feel confident, and actually enjoy the life you're working so hard for, you are in the right place. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about a mindset shift that changed everything for me and could definitely change things for you. It's the power of what I like to call next best action. If we're honest, life doesn't always go to plan. There's always stuff that happens that completely throws us off track. But the difference between success and failure in anything, but certainly with fat loss, is about not necessarily getting it perfect, but about just making sure you continue to make steps forward when the situation's not perfect. We've all been there. You start the week full of good intentions, you've meal prepped, you've planned your workouts, you've promised yourself that this is going to be the week. And then life happens. A last minute meeting pops in your diary, you miss a workout, you get home late, absolutely starving, and the thought of cooking a meal just feels like too much. So you order yourself a takeaway. Your train gets cancelled, so you can't make it your workout class. And then you start to spiral, you hit what I call the fuck it button, and you think, well, I've blown it. So what's the point? I'll start again on Monday. You hit that fuck it button and you go all out and you completely spiral out of control, ready to start again on Monday. That all or nothing mindset, that idea of hitting the fuck it button and starting again on Monday, it is what keeps so many professional women stuck. We are high achievers, as I've said before, and we probably think that we need to be perfect. And if we're not perfect, then what's the point? The truth is, as hard as it is to hear and as hard as it is to accept, life doesn't need to be perfect because life isn't perfect. You are not perfect. You just need to try and be more consistent. And to be more consistent, that comes from focusing on your next best action. So what does that actually mean? Well, I've actually stolen this a little bit from back in my corporate days. Back then, when I was working in a product team, we were developing a new product and we were talking about how to market it. And the marketing team talked about this idea of next best action marketing strategy. And I didn't know much about marketing. That wasn't my job. I was working in product at the time. But they basically talked about it as basically saying, rather than rigidly having a plan based on the product and pushing that product plan out in your marketing, it's about saying, what does the customer need, and designing your marketing around what the customer needs rather than what you as a business need. It's about thinking about what works best right now for that client rather than what should we be marketing to them. It's about flexibility. And it works the same way here. I've kind of lifted the idea and taken it into a health and fitness context. Rather than having a fixed all or nothing approach to dieting, to health and fitness, to the gym, to tracking your food, whatever that might be, the next best action mindset asks, what can I realistically do with where I am right now? It's not about overhauling your entire day or your entire week. It's not about, making some big dramatic change and sticking to it no matter what. It's about taking it one decision at a time. And instead of letting one choice that maybe wasn't quite aligned or one moment that wasn't quite right ruin everything, you pause and ask yourself, what's the next best thing that I can do right now? So, for example, you might have a last minute meeting that flies into your diary, and that means you can't get to the gym. And instead of thinking, well, I failed, I've messed it up, and hitting the fuck it button, or going to your boss and I absolutely can't make that meeting because I have to go to the gym and potentially compromising your career, you sit there and say, right, I can't go to the gym, but what's the next best thing I could do? Well, I could go for a 10-minute walk on the way home. I could take a slightly longer walk home so I get some more steps in. Or I could actually do some stretches while the kettle's boiling. Or I could get home and actually do a quick home workout. It's not about what you didn't do or the fact you couldn't get to the gym. It's about thinking, what can I do instead? Equally, let's say you're at work and you get invited out for a client lunch you weren't expecting. Instead of thinking, oh, I fucked it, and hitting the fuck it button, going to get a takeaway, or sitting there and thinking, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to skip dinner to make up for it. Maybe it's thinking, well, today's maybe not going to be a day where I can track within my calories, but that's okay. I'm okay with that, because actually the next best thing I can do is have a slightly lighter dinner, but make sure that I'm still satisfied. And then tomorrow I can track again and I can go again. It's about making those small changes, those small tweaks that say, I can't do the thing that I ideally would like to do, but I can still do something. Let's say you're late home from work and you haven't got time to cook the dinner you've planned. That doesn't mean you have to order a Domino's pizza. I don't know who orders Domino's anymore. It's like 25 quid for a pizza. But anyway, it doesn't mean you have to order a pizza. You could still have something nutritious that's maybe just a bit easier to cook. Grab yourself a supermarket ready meal, order a takeaway, but order something that's a little bit more nutritious and aligned with your goals. You don't need to make the perfect choice. You just need to make a choice that moves you forward. And it's all about this idea that there's always another option that is aligned with your goal, even if it's not the first option that you had. And importantly, remember that if it doesn't go to plan, if something goes wrong, it's not failure, it's just an opportunity for feedback. Back in my corporate days, if a marketing campaign that we were pushing out for a product didn't go to plan, when I was marketing the invoice finance product that I was selling, if a marketing campaign didn't go to plan, if our launch for this product didn't bring in the right amount of clients, we didn't sit there and go, oh, we fucked it, let's just not do any work for the next couple of months until the next marketing push goes. Like, that would be so stupid. Instead, what we did was we reviewed what went wrong, we looked at the data, we made adjustments, and we tried again. It's the same with health and fitness. When something doesn't go to plan, when, let's go with the workout example, when your boss drops in a meeting and you can't make it to the gym, it's not a reason to quit, it's a reason to learn, adapt, and do something differently next time. Maybe you start to realize that actually your boss has a tendency to drop these last minute meetings in. And maybe you think, actually, I'm going to block it out in my diary so that meeting can't come in. Or maybe you sit there and think, okay, well, those days aren't the best days for me to go to the gym. Or actually, you might think, you know what, maybe I need to adjust my schedule and go in the morning instead. It's an opportunity for data, for feedback. It doesn't mean you failed. This is my challenge for you today. I want you to take a little moment to reflect on a decision you've made recently that maybe didn't align with your goals. And then ask yourself, what would I do differently next time? And if this week, I'm sure it will happen, something happens where it kind of throws off your plans in health and fitness or in anything else, just ask yourself, what is my next best action? Because if you can make that choice, that's all going to add up to really big results. If this episode resonated with you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. Next episode, tomorrow, we're going to be diving into the framework that makes weight loss feel effortless, even for busy professional women. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.